Here to discuss his first four out, last four in, the author himself, our bracketology expert, Jerry Palm. Jerry, good to see you. So UNC wins, but remains in the first four out. What do they need to do to get off the bubble?
Probably beat Duke, because this is just really an indication of where the ACC is right now and how far everyone else is from Duke, is that there just aren't quality wins to be had in this league. North Carolina's resume up until a week ago was at least they don't have any bad losses. Then they lost to Pitt, and that's a quad 4 loss. If you look at their wins, they beat Michigan by 20 in December. That's their only win against anyone within shouting distance of the bracket. And that's just not good enough to overcome 0-7 against quad 1 opponents. So, or 1-7, because the Virginia Tech road win is a quad 1 game. But the 7 losses are all tournament teams. They had no wins against tournament teams. Their last game is Duke. That's it for potential tournament teams until the conference tournament, in which, maybe they can make a run. But there's just not enough quality opportunities for North Carolina.
All right, so that's the North Carolina situation. Let's talk about bubble watch games tonight. 18 Arkansas at Florida. How big is this game for Florida?
It's huge because Florida has not been good against the better teams on their schedule. The win over Auburn was enormous. It pushed them into the bracket for now, and they get Arkansas at home, and they finish with Kentucky at home. So that's 2 really good chances to play their way more solidly into the tournament. In between, they have road games with Georgia and Vanderbilt that they have to win, even though they're road games, because they can't give any of this away. But if they can split that Arkansas-Kentucky, those 2 home games, and win the 2 road games, they're going to enter the SEC tournament in a much more comfortable position than they are even right now.
Look at 2-7 in terms of their quad 1 wins, 3-2 in quad 2. All right, let's continue with games to watch tonight. Michigan State at 25 Iowa. Now, Jerry, Chris Hassel is listening. What about Iowa here?
Why is Iowa 25? I mean, until they won at Ohio State, their best win was home Indiana. And this is another team that has not performed well against the better teams on their schedule. Now, in Iowa's favor is the fact that only one of their losses, the one at Penn State, is the only one to a team that's not, a potential tournament team. But, Iowa's got a schedule that helps them. This Michigan State game is good. They finished the season at Michigan and at Illinois. They have 2 very winnable games in between. So if they can win tonight and win those 2 in between and go into that Michigan game on having won these 3 games, they'll be much more comfortably in the field, and those 2 games won't be quite as important. But if they trip up along here, they're going to go into those last 2 road games needing to do something.
Hard to see. Chris Hassel not shaking his head at that one. In agreement with you, Jerry. Lastly, where does Kansas rank among the 1 seeds as they host their in-state rivals K-State tonight?
Well, the committee gave us their top 16 on Saturday, and they had Kansas as the 4th number 1. And they made it clear that the 3 teams ahead of them were a tightly knit group, and then there was some separation between that group and number 4 Kansas. Now, since then, of course, Auburn lost to Florida and has come back to the pack a little bit, but there's still probably at least a little bit of a gap between Kansas at number 4 and the top 3. I don't think Kansas can close that gap really much tonight against Kansas State, who's a good team, but not a tournament level team. So there's still work to be done. They still have Baylor left on their schedule, the Big 12 tournament, and there are so many high quality games in the Big 12 that Kansas has a better chance to resume build than even the teams ahead of them that are, like Arizona and especially Auburn, who's in a good league.
He is CBS Sports HQ resident bracketologist Jerry Palm. You can see his first 4 in, last 4 out on CBSSports.com. And for more on the college basketball situation as a whole, as you take a look at the notable games for tonight, we did mention Ohio State, Indiana. That was a 6.5-point favorite game there. Those games were from last night, the notable games. The college ball basketball situation, you want to check it out. Be sure to check out the Eye on College Basketball podcast. Our Matt Norlander and Gary Parrish all over the situation in college basketball. We are less than 3 weeks away from Selection Sunday, so you want to download and follow the Eye on College Basketball podcast.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.